Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 23rd. I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, then we'll get started with our session for this morning. It is 6:21 right now, so the market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark everything up real quick, set everything up in this room, and then we can get started with our analysis of the bias for today. All right, a couple more things here. Looks good. Solid. A couple more things. And we're good. All right, let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, so there we go. As people make their way in, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the liquidity here on the lower time frame. Start on the 1 hour. Let's go down to the 30-minute. $15-minute. $10-minute. $5-minute. Lastly, the 1 minute here. All right. So this looks good for the most part. Couple more levels low here. All right, so this is pretty much all set and ready to go. So looking at current price right now, price is obviously just ranging in between this area right here. Not really much going on. It is 6:25 right now, so good morning, everybody. Today is June 23rd, Thursday. 6:25 market is going to open in about 5 minutes. So I've marked up the liquidity here on the 1 minute. Looks like about half of you guys are here. So let's see who's here. Morning, Saren. Morning, Maria. Morning, Peter. Morning, Denzel. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Fundme. Morning, Karen. Morning, everybody. All right, so let's start off with looking at the overall bias for today. So looking over here at the retail sentiment, it is currently 63% long, indicating that there's 63% of retail traders that are currently buying. So we're trying to do the opposite and sell here. Looking over here at the fundamentals, it's currently up 116 points right now. This is pre-market, so we'll see what happens when the market actually does open. But looking at this and tying it together with the sentiment, there is no overall bias because this is indicating a buy while this is indicating a sell. So right now we don't have an overall bias. You can tell just by looking at the chart here. I wouldn't expect there to be an overall bias because price is literally going sideways. So we'll see what happens when the market does open. the bias will shift one way or the other. So we have that set up right there. I think we had news today at 5:30. So we had news at 5:30. We have news coming up at 6:45, which is flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI, basically inflation news. And then we have Powell speaking later at 7. So 5:30, 6:45, 7, and 7:30. Let me just mark that up over here real quick. So we had 5:30, which is right there. We have news coming up at 6:45. We have a lot of news today, guys. So I don't know if we're going to be able to take anything during the live, but we'll see. We have news at 6:45, 7, and 7:30. It's just back-to-back news all day today. So yeah, I mean, pretty much got that all marked up right there. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes, guys. So I will check that shortly. Let me go over here and mark up the liquidity on the clean chart just so that you guys can have an idea as to where direction of price is and where we anticipate it to go. All right. Good. So there goes the areas of liquidity here on the 1 minute markup news price. 5:30 there. 6:30. 6:45. 7. 7:30. All right. So pretty much got everything marked up here on the clean chart as well. So the market is going to open in about a minute, guys. So the market is opening shortly in about 30 seconds. When the market does open, we'll try to confirm where the breakout is going. However, there's no overall bias, so it's going to be a bit risky. Things to look out for would be the sessions below here if we do get a sell. Other than that, we'll see. So if I do take a breakout, I'm probably going to take it for just partial move. I'm not going to take it for the full move because there's no overall bias. Second step right here, overall bias obviously is not present. It's not required, but it is preferred and recommended. So we'll see where this goes. We do have a sell signal right here. So in order for us to take the breakout for a sell, we need to have a strong red candle. One thing that you want to be careful for is going to be the sessions below here though. So even if we do get a sell entry for the breakout, you want to be careful because price can bounce off the sessions right there. Or it can break below, who knows, right? One way or the other. So just be careful for that right there, but we are looking for a sell here for a possible breakout. It needs to close as a strong red candle, but it is right at the session. So I'll probably hold off on a bit before even thinking about taking it. However, if you get an opposite direction where price does push to the upside and we get a buy signal here, then the bias or the breakout will shift from a sell to a buy because we're just trading the direction of momentum. All right, so price kind of spiked up there a little bit. See if it closes with a buy signal. If it does, so this is technically the breakout right here, guys. Or actually, no, it's not. There's no buy signal. If this closes here with a buy signal and it's a strong green candle, then this would technically be the breakout or a buy. Just be very careful if you guys are deciding to take this because now it's going to be cutting into the sessions above here. And what a choppy market this morning. So it hasn't closed yet. We have to see if this candle does close, but it needs to close with the buy signal in order for it to be confirmation of the momentum. So we do have a lot of news coming up, guys. These red lines right here are all news events. So just keep that in mind. We do have the buy signal here closing, but it has not closed and has not confirmed. So the buy signal there did close. Momentum is bullish right now. So in order for us to take the breakout, you'd be looking for a strong green candle. And you can see prices coming back down for another sell signal right here. So you guys can see how choppy the market is. Whenever the market is choppy like this, it's best to be patient and wait for the confirmation, because you can chase this for a sell and you could have gone stopped out. You could chase this for a buy and you could have gone stopped out as well. Yeah, I know D said price doesn't know what it wants to do. I agree. So just be patient, guys. With the way that the market's moving, I might not even take the breakout if it does come up. There's no clear direction at all. Price is going back and forth, literally no direction. I'm going to mark up opening price right here, though. My overall bias or overall sentiment is going to be a sell. So I'm still going to be looking for a sell overall if and when that happens. So this right here is technically the breakout, guys, right here. This is technically the breakout. If you guys want to take it, if I do take it, I would take it for a partial move, though, because it is a bit risky of a move right here. But this would technically be the breakout. So I did take it for a partial move. I only took it for 100 pips. I just saw it because the price is bouncing around this area. It caused some liquidity. So I did take it for a partial move, but I'm not taking it for the full move. The reason I took it was because I saw this big wick right here and I knew the wick was going to fill. So when it pulled back right here, I entered it for just 100 pips and I pulled out like within a couple of seconds. So price pulled down right there. And this is why 100 pips is a good sweet spot. So you can see right here, 100 pips, right? Look how price is pushing back and forth. I probably could have double dipped in here and got another 100 pips. Right there again, see how the big wick comes down and then it spikes back up? It's easy to just catch 100 pips here and there. And that's why I use that as my threshold. So again, right here, you can see if you would have bought into this as price starts to wick around, you can easily get in and out really quickly. It's only 100 pips. Your stop loss is wide, so you're not going to get stopped out. It just, you get in and out really quickly. But you can see right here that the market isn't really moving smoothly. It's kind of just going back and forth. So this is why I'm taking partial moves instead of the full move, because if I didn't, then I'd be caught in this right here, this drawdown. I'd be screwed. So that is the breakout's still running. I'm not in the position though, so I don't recommend anyone take the position and hold on to it, because you can see that there's no clear direction in price. Price is just bouncing back and forth. Professor said, Sean, that was a valid momentum signal, even though the candle was red. The requirements don't require a valid momentum signal. It just requires that you identify where momentum is going, Professor. So for the requirement right here, it says confirm direction momentum. You're just looking for the momentum signal. You don't care if it's valid or not, because you're not taking it as the entry. You're just looking at what direction price is going. So no need for a valid momentum. It's just you're looking for what direction price is going. So right now we do have a pending sell signal right here. And this is why you guys don't want to trade when the market's not moving smoothly, because this is where you start to stress out, right? Because you probably would have entered late and then now you're in some massive drawdown. It's getting close to stop loss. This is why I was telling you guys not to take it. Or if you guys did take it, only take it for a partial move like 100 pips, because you guys can literally take 100 pips here and there. It's, as I measured it right here, when you're going for 100 pips, this is the only movement you're going for. So with the market going back and forth like this, you're like, okay, quick 100 pips here and there. You can kind of enter at any given moment where it's kind of volatile. Like again, right here, if you entered when price dropped below here, it's another 100 pips. You entered when our prices bounce around this point, another 100 pips. You just have to be smart about where you're entering and not just entering at some random point. Like you're not going to enter up here. That'd be dumb, right? Because price would come right back down. You're in some massive drawdown. But if you'd enter around entry point, like for example, if I was to keep entering around this point right here, around entry, like price would come down, hit entry, full TP, price come back down, hit entry, full TP, price come back down, entry, full TP. But that's only if you like, you know what you're doing. Because if you're just entering for no reason, you're probably gonna get caught in some drawdown. So that's it for me here off the breakout. I'll be looking for any other entries here, but for the breakout, I did pretty solid, even though it was partial. So let me show you guys. This over here. Let me take a screenshot of my profits real quick. Let me see if there was any difference between my accounts. So there actually was a difference between all of my accounts. So I'm gonna have to take a screenshot of every account. It looks like there was slippage across it. So I had different profits for my FTMO and for both my FTMOs and for all of my MFFs account, which this doesn't happen very often. People always ask me if I have if it's just one MFF or if it's three. Now I could show you guys that it is obviously three because the profits are completely different across all the accounts. Typically they're the same, and this breakout is still running. It's been running for a while now. If you guys are in the position, I'd recommend move your stop loss and profit or just pull out and profit because, I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't want to be stressed out holding a trade like this. We're just going back and forth so often. Looks like it might hit TP though. But I'm gonna sit on my hands and I'm not going to double dip into this. It's not worth the risk. And that's crazy that there was that much slippage. I guess, I mean, it's not a huge surprise because the market is moving kind of crazy. But anyways, here are my profits. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free. Otherwise, post that real quick. Okay, so here are my profits for the day so far. The trade is still running right here. I will set an alert there so that we can just be notified when it does hit, if and when it does hit. I think it will hit because there's no other sessions above there. It already broke past the other sessions. So it's got ways to go. We do have news coming up shortly. Thanks, Lauren, for confirming that. So, all right, here are my profits for that breakout. So here's my main account, FTMO. You can see the green strip here because I let it hit TP. It locked in a total profit of 1,185. Total profit on this account is 3,013 for the day. Here's my FTMO copier. I locked in 1,485, some slippage there in my favor. Total profit on this account, 3,613. Here's my MFF. This is my first MFF account. I locked in 1,350, total profit of 1,910 off this account. My second account, some slippage in my favor, locked in 1,440, total profit of 2,000 off this account. And for my third account, right here, I locked in a profit of 1,430, total profit of 1,990. So these are my 5 accounts right here, full TP off the breakout. If you guys caught it, took the whole thing, congrats to you. You guys have some real nerve to hold on to that trade. I couldn't do it myself. And there you go. It continues to push up. Here goes liquidity that it just hit and further push to the upside. So great work, guys, for whoever caught it. If you guys have profit to share, feel free to post them in the group. I'll add them to the list of profits and I'll give you guys an update here so that you guys can pull out if you guys are still in it. Because I know some of you guys wait for me to give that confirmation that it's done. Nice, nice. Akil said went for the double dip at the end, caught in the partial. Great work, Akil. So you guys are catching on. So Akil, you've been here for not too long, but you're catching on to these double dips and how things work. It's really like trading off your intuition. Like it's the same pattern that comes up nearly every day. It's just really identifying, when to take these entries or not. It's not really that difficult because it's just a rinse and repeat every single day of what we're applying. It's not like things have changed. We go over the same analysis pretty much every session. And there we go, as price comes back down. So now be careful, guys, if you guys are looking to trade, because you can see how crazy the market is moving. These two candles right here have spiked up 750 pips, both up and down within a second. So let me just put this up here real quick. So that looks good right there. Let me go and just push this down a little bit, post it up over here. So it looks like a lot of you guys here are posting your profits. If you guys want to share it, feel free. I'll go over your profits shortly after I post these up as well. And we should be good. All right, so as we wait for a price to pass news right here, and wait for news to pass, I'll go over everyone's profits real quick just to show you guys what everyone else did. So we got some good profits over here so far. Let me see what happened. So we have Kenny over here. Kenny locked in a total profit of 1,766. Nice work, Kenny. Kevin over here locked in a total profit of, I don't even know, a lot, but all wins right here. So nice work right there, Kevin. Nice. Yeah. So Kevin here said, I actually took the breakout today. I entered it 8 different times. That last sell was because it was way overextended. I knew it would drop. Yeah. So Kevin over here, he actually dipped into the trade 8 times. So you can see here he has 8 buys from like 8:30 by 6:30. So 6:30 is right here, 6:33. He took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 times he entered into the trade and he made some pretty massive profits. So nice work right there, Kevin. It's just trusting the process, knowing where price is going. It's not rocket science, really. It's following the steps, understanding what I'm analyzing and what I'm saying here on the live. You guys can easily double dip into positions. I think when I started to explain that, 100 pips is really not that much. Like if you're dipping into a trade for 100 pips, it's like easy because each candle here moves at least 100 pips. If you're trading in the direction of whatever bias you're looking for, like for the breakout here was a buy, you could have double dipped into this like every single candle. The breakout started right here at like 636. You could have double dipped into there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 amount of times. Not that I'd recommend it if you guys don't know what you're doing, but if you know what you're doing, like if you're like Kevin or like certain people in the group, you guys can easily do that because the 100 pip threshold is really small and it's easy to get in and out of it. So Harry over here posted his profits, locking a total profit of 1,495. Nice work, Harry. Nice. Dre over here said double dip, yo. So he locked in 2,112. Nice work, Dre. He double dipped into this. Every time price kind of came down, he just took that buy, locked in 100 pips, came back down, locked another 100 pips. He took it at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3. He took it 4 times actually when price is bouncing through there. So nice work right there, Dre. I'm glad that you guys took advantage of that. So I guess Telegram closed on me. So we got some more profits right here, Kenny. 1,766. Nice work, Kenny. And thanks for the news update over there. Another trade over here, Dre. And I think that's it for these groups. See, Hugo over here as well took the breakout. He held on to it. Nice work, Hugo. Locking a total profit of nearly 10,000 for the day. Great work, Hugo. Nice big move there. He caught the breakout basically for the entire push. And paid nicely. His other account over here, 4,889. Great work, Hugo. You guys are killing it. Great work, guys. See, Kenny over here sent his, yeah, we got Powell speaking later. Thanks. I'll check that out a little later. But nice work, guys, overall. So news was negative right here. Thanks, Peter, for DeAndre said, where my boy Steven at? He's right there. I don't know if he took anything, but he is right there. So we got news right here at 6:45. I'm going to take this off just to clean it up a little bit. We do have news marked up there, news marked up there. Thanks, Peter. Peter said the news was negative, so good to know, good to know. Right here, Thursday, June 23rd, news over here for flash manufacturing PMI was negative, flash services PMI negative as well. This was expected. You know, inflation is going up, guys, so I wasn't expecting it to be good. So we already anticipated this on Monday or Tuesday when we discussed it. I mentioned, you know, when inflation news comes out, it's going to be negative. So it was negative right there. You can see price did drop, faked out to the upside. It might be coming right back down from there. We do have Powell speaking again later today as well at 7:30. So stuff to keep in mind. So other than that, let's see David over here as well. He took the buy for the breakout, locked in a total profit of 79 off that trade, total profit of 70.71. So guys, it doesn't matter if you guys have a big account, small account, medium account, whatever. You guys can still profit here pretty solidly. Like David over here has been pretty consistent, made 71 bucks today, 48 bucks yesterday, 17 bucks the day before that, 27 bucks the day before that. So like he's been consistent, right? $13 the day before that. He's been killing it, right? Doesn't matter if you're making hundreds, thousands, tens, whatever. Profit's profit. You know, you guys got to start somewhere. So if you have a small account, don't be ashamed to post your profits. You know, David here is locking like 70 bucks. That's, you know, it's like someone's day's work if they're working minimum wage or whatnot. So nice work, David. You know, not everyone's going to have like same profits as everyone else. Like not everyone here is going to have, you know, $5,000 profit like Hugo here or $10,000 profit. Some people will have a $2,000 profit like Dre here or Kenny, you know, $1,000 profit. So guys, there's no there's no shame in progress. That's really what it is. Because I feel like a lot of you guys are you feel kind of embarrassed to post smaller profits, but you know, a win's a win, guys. If you guys can win and stay consistent, when you guys do get the big account, you guys will be ready to lock in big profits just like everyone else. So other than that, that's it for right now. Price is now ranging around news price right here. This pink line is news price. There's not much of a direction. Price is pretty much just going sideways from here. We have another news event coming up here at 7 o'clock. That news event is going to be Powell speaking. So good luck. We're gonna have to be a bit careful when Powell speaks because you guys already know what happens when Powell speaks. Market goes a little crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and just update the areas of liquidity right here. So turn this back on. So we got that. Go ahead and delete this. Markup news price. I'm going to delete this. All right, so you guys can see it better here. This is a clean chart. There's less markings on here, so it's easier to see. Basically, market opened right here at 6:30. This is where market, where is it at? Sorry, I didn't mark it up. Let me get that real quick. Market opened right here at 6:30. Right. So this is where market opened up at 6:30. It's been bullish since market opened. Price pretty much pushed up all the way up here. It's coming back down, and now it's pretty much just retracing. So it is coming back down right here, but it is ranging between this area over here. The cutoff is going to be right here at 7 o'clock. This is where this hour cuts off, or not the hour, from market open until 7. And then from there, we'll see the direction of price ends up coming back down to opening. So this would be the target if price does come back down further. But there's no guarantee it's going to come down yet. You want to wait and confirm it. Looking over at the retail sentiment, it's currently 61% long. So we're still looking for sells here with regard to sentiment. Looking at the fundamentals, fundamentals are currently up 152 points. So they're still conflicting. Fundamentals here are bullish. Retail sentiment is bearish. Looking over here at the heat map. Heat map right now is currently pretty bullish, as you guys can see, but price is coming down. So this is why I use retail sentiment as my main confluence here, because even though the fundamentals are bullish, you can see price is still coming right back down to opening price right there. I was thinking about maybe taking, it's too late now, fuck. I was trying to take the last, you guys know what I try to do sometimes. Whenever price gets near the opening price, I try to catch the last 100 pips here. The only thing that I was worried about was that it was at the news price right here. So that's why I didn't want to take it. But it, you know, if I took it, it would have hit. And there you go, as it drops lower. So now price is just correcting right back down. You can see how crazy the market is moving right now. This is probably a sign to stay out until we have some sort of confirmation as to where price is actually going to be going. But it has pretty much gone down to this point. And it's dumping. So see, there's another area of liquidity below here, but now price is now below opening price. Sentiment here, or not sentiment, retail fundamentals are starting to change. So it was up 150 points. Now it's down, it's only up 70 points. So as price continues to drop lower, it's just going to get lower from that point as well. So just keep an eye out for this here. Sentiment is still 60% long. So we'll see where it goes from here, guys. Price is pretty much just hovering around opening price. This is where market open. It's basically, so if you guys look at where price is currently at, it's basically like this right here was just manipulation, right? This whole area up here was just manipulation because it's like it never happened. Price pushed up initially up here, and then it came back down. This is where market opened 30 minutes ago, or less than 30 minutes ago. Market opened right here. It pushed up, it came back down. It's right back to where it was when it opened. So it's like this right here never even happened. At this point, you can now start to gauge where the actual price direction is going. So like you can just ignore this, like this was whatever just happened previously. And now that we're right back at where price was supposed to be, now we can gauge where it's going to go. So from this point, you can see, or you can identify, okay, is price going to go up or is it going to go down? Because if it does go up or down, it's probably going to continue in that direction. The one thing that you want to be careful for is Powell, because Powell is speaking the next 6 minutes. So when he does speak, he has the power to push price up or down, you know, depending on what he discusses during his policy. Let's see. Kenny over here send me the link. So he's not on yet, but he'll be on in about 5 minutes. So we'll see. But yeah, basically from this point here, you can just identify where price is going. But you can see that price kind of just came back down. So if you were to ignore this area here, and you just looked at this area right here, this is where price is supposed to be. It just corrected back down. Now at this point, you'll just wait to see where it goes. Now that the sentiment and fundamentals are mixed, I still think overall price is going to come down. So my guess is that the direction is going to be to the downside, but when Powell speaks here at 7, he can easily push price right back up. So it's just a matter of patience, guys. I don't recommend taking anything right now because Powell is speaking shortly. Last thing you want to do is enter trade and it just ends up spiking the opposite direction, right? So back to the clean chart over here. I don't see any entries, so there's nothing for us to take even if we wanted to. Let me just clean this up. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of liquidity below here. So I don't be surprised if price hits this point, this area of liquidity, and then comes down even lower and hits these, you know, these areas of liquidity right here as well. So we'll keep watching. But right now, there's just no direction. Price is just bouncing back and forth. There's no entries available. I kind of want to get a buy signal, because if we get a buy signal, then we can start looking for variations. There's no variations available right now, but if we do see one, it'd be good. Like, for example, there was a variation V1 right here. That would have been solid, but it was pre-market, I think. Yeah, it was like right about when market was going to open. So if you took this variation V1 right here, straight to TP, damn, that would have been good. That would have been nice. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for some variations, looking for, I mean, any entry is, okay, perfect. So we did get that buy signal right there. We can start looking for some variations, but the thing that you want to be careful for is going to be Powell. So with Powell speaking shortly, you just want to be cognizant that price can move kind of crazy. So I wouldn't recommend holding on to anything for too long. If you do enter a trade, get in and out quickly. Because Powell is going to speak in about 3 minutes. Yeah, he hasn't started yet, but he will. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna go over here to the 10-minute. I'm gonna mark up the liquidity over here just because we have a lot of free time. We have like nothing to really look at the moment since Powell's going to speak, but I'm gonna mark up the liquidity here just so that we can be at least somewhat aware on the higher time frames. All right. Two hour. One hour. Minute. 15. It's actually a lot of liquidity here on the higher time frames. So there's gonna be a lot of areas for it to push when it does make its way down there. Okay, so I marked up all the liquidity here on the higher time frames as well. It's good. I don't see any other entries here available. So nothing here on the 10-minute, back to the 1 minute over here. Price is still bouncing around. It's not really doing too much, but Powell is going to speak shortly in about now, actually. Yeah, so it looks like you guys are looking for a V3 here, but unfortunately no V3s yet. Maybe off this one right here. So nothing off the 10, nothing off the 1. Powell's starting to speak, or he should be starting soon. All right, there we go, J Powell. Powell's getting settled in. So let's let the games begin. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark up the news price right here. I know nothing's happened yet, but this is still considered news price. So let's see what Powell has to say. This is technically a V1 right here. If it closes, this candle might be too big though, and it's right next to news price. So I don't think I'm going to take it. Yeah, it's like right next to news price. Yeah, it's too risky. It's right next to news price. This would technically be a V1. And I'll watch it to see if it comes down. Let's see. No, it's too close to news price, so it makes it super risky. So I'm not going to take it. It's probably going to hit, but I'm not going to take that risk. It's like literally right at news price. Yep, and it did fucking hit. I knew it was going to hit. It was just too risky of a move that I didn't want to take it, but I had a feeling it was going to hit. So this is a V1 right there. It was a double body. However, you shouldn't be taking trades when it's near news price. It was just one red flag, but still. And also this candle here was too big. So for that, it was actually two red flags, news price, and I was waiting for it to come back down so that I could have taken it. So I could have just disregarded the big candle thing. So I waited for the retracement, which did happen, retraced, and it came back down. So technically one red flag here, but whatever. I'm not looking to take any risk anyways. I'm pretty okay with my profits for the day so far. It looks like Kevin took it. So nice work, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin actually took that V1 right there. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said two red flags. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, it's not the time to take these crazy risks because Powell's going to speak shortly. So it's not exactly the time to hop into these maybe trades. Love the message right now. But yeah, there's nothing available right now specifically, but nice work, guys, for whoever caught it. Jay over here caught it as well, looks like. So he caught it, total profit of 1,270 for the day. So nice work, Jay. Yeah, he did take that right now, the one that I just mentioned, the V1. So he took the sell right there, locked in 623, total profit of 1,200. So nice work. Kevin took it and he's actually holding it. Yeah, I mean, damn, look at that big gap right there. Okay, I'm definitely not trade this. Look at how big that gap was, guys. This usually doesn't happen during active market, but that gap right there. Jeez. How far did it drop down? All right, so I think I'm not going to take any more trades. It gapped down 420 pips. So let's see what else we've got over here. Kevin said, yeah, I'm actually holding. It's going to fill the gap. Patrick over here sending his profits as well. Locked in a total profit of 4,368. Nice work. Patrick over there as well. Let's see what price is moving. Yeah, it's dropping down pretty nice. I'm not going to take anything here though, guys. So I know there's a lot of speculation here where people might think price is going to drop lower, but I'm going to hold off. I'm not looking to take that risk right now. Yeah. Yeah, I think overall price is going to keep dumping because yesterday Powell spoke, price pushed up for like no reason. Now he's talking again. I think it's just going to correct back down because price is still overextended. As you guys can see right here, price has been pushing up like since yesterday, like way too high. It needs to come back down. So I think eventually it'll come back down. It's just getting pumped up right now. Let me see what news is coming tomorrow. I think we do have news on Friday. We just have Fed news. So you have Fed member Bullard speaking at 4:30 a.m. and consumer sentiment. So we'll see. But I'm not going to take any unnecessary risk. I'm just going to hold off. And wait for some movement here. So this is just basically a continuation of yesterday, because he was talking yesterday. I guess he didn't really finish. So he is now continuing. Looks like they're talking about cryptocurrency trading. Talking about the crypto market right now. Let's see. So price is now currently ranging between these two levels right here. No variations available. We do have a sell signal here. So in order for us to get a variation, we need a buy signal to come up first. So we need that buy signal to come up, and then we can have it identified as any possible upcoming variations. But there he goes, price comes down. It's doing exactly what we anticipated, Kevin. So Kevin held on to it, which is nice. I can't do that though, especially not during like crazy news like this. Even though I do think price is coming down, I don't have the stomach to hold on to a trade like that, especially when price can just bounce back and forth so often. That's where Kevin. So Kevin's currently up pretty heavily today. Oh, he closed it. Yeah, no, smart move though. So he closed it and he got back in. My Doki's asking, how can you sell and buy US30 at the same time? What? I mean, you could have separate positions open, guys. I don't know what people are talking about. Uh, I mean, some people are just not familiar with like how different brokers work. I mean, yeah, some brokers have first in, first out, but MT4 doesn't have first in, first out. You can have multiple positions running at once. Anyways, back to our analysis here. Price came back down to opening price there, and it is now rejecting off the sessions right there. There goes, price starts to push around. Still dropping lower. It needs to hit all these areas of liquidity basically below. Looks like it's going to hit liquidity here on the 10-minute, but it is right at the session, so it's a bit risky. It's going to hit liquidity right here. See where it's going. So it's going to hit liquidity here on the 10, but it's just too risky of a move right here because, obviously reasons of Powell and stuff, but it's trying to see if I can catch this liquidity push or even this. Maybe I could get into this, but go for a partial move. I don't know. It's too risky. I'm watching the charts to see if there's any opportunity where I could maybe get in for a little bit at least. But no, I'm just gonna hold off. It's just the market's just moving too crazy right now, guys. It's not worth the risk, especially with Powell speaking. If price makes it down here, I can. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think he's even started speaking yet. No, he hasn't. He hasn't started speaking yet, but you could already see the crazy movements in price. So check for 1 minute. It keeps coming around this area and bouncing, which is considered, I guess, the there it goes, it drops lower. Hit that area of liquidity. Oh man, I missed it. I was waiting for it to come back below here and I was gonna hit sell, but I missed it. No, I'm not gonna enter, it's too late. You would have to enter it, or I think the 10-minute probably would have been a better area. There. Because this provided for a little more push. Like 200 pips or so. Anyways, as you guys can see, the liquidity works both ways. It works for both the higher time frames, lower time frames. It doesn't really matter what time frame we're trading on. Liquidity works both the same way. Here's the 1 minute over here. It's still kind of pushing around. But with Powell speaking, I'm probably going to sit tight. All right, I got to control my FOMO right now. I feel like my FOMO is starting to settle in because I see a lot of opportunities here to take trades, but with Powell speaking, it's just not a safe time to enter anything. Because you can see how price is spiking, like right there, it hit that area of liquidity, but now it's spiking back up. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down and breaks through this area again. But it's like what Maddie said, better safe than sorry. Retracement is up about, yeah, the retracement's way too high. It's like 400 pips. So if your stop loss is 300 pips, you can easily get caught in this. So I'd recommend just sitting tight, guys, and waiting for a smoother move. 10 minute is done with over here. I'm gonna update this. One minute, nothing there. Let's take a look at the sentiment. Sentiment is currently 61% long. Still looking for sells here with regard to the sentiment. Looking at the fundamentals, fundamentals are currently up 94 points, so it's not very strong anymore, but it's still bullish. Looking at the heat map is currently split. Looking over here at the stock index, is currently split as well, half red, half green. More green, but I mean, it's still pretty split down the middle. Jonathan said, no W's, no L's equals a win-win. Haven't even started my challenge yet. Yeah, so like what John said here, Jonathan, he mentioned, no wins and no losses equals a win-win for him. He hasn't started his challenge yet because he just isn't comfortable. There's no rush to start your challenge, guys. Whenever you guys buy a challenge, only take a trade when you're like confident, because your time doesn't start until you take that first trade. So you can hold on to that account for like weeks or months, and you're still fine. Sometimes it's best to wait for better market conditions anyways. Like today's kind of crazy with all the news going on. This could make or break an account. Like, for example, you guys can see how far of a range price has been pushing. So from this low to this high, price has been pushing nearly 2,000 pips. So if you're taking risky trades, this can make or break your account because you can easily pass or you can easily blow your account. For me personally, I don't like taking risk like that. So I just wait for good entries before taking anything, because I'd rather be safe and win rather than take risky trades and just get lucky. But you know, your luck's going to run out and it can't run forever. So I would recommend, you know, taking quality trades versus taking risky trades. So price is now pushing back up right here. This is fine because now that we have this buy signal, it's now creating possibility of variations. Because in order for us to take variations, we need to have a pending signal. So there's nothing available right now. 10-minute over here. It's fine. This isn't anything to take at the moment. Nothing on the one. See, Powell has started speaking yet. So he's now starting to speak slightly. But there's not really much for us to take away from it. Price is now coming back down, but there's no entries to take right there. Yeah. Yeah, so Kevin's saying, man, so many people are asking me to trade their accounts. I know you probably get the same thing. I won't do it. I don't want that kind of drama. It's crazy what some people have been proposing and offering me. Yeah, and then same here, Kevin. I don't know if you're here in the Zoom, but yeah, I get those requests all the time. That's why I even stopped doing signals, guys, because it's just too much of a headache dealing with people who want that golden ticket, right? They just want you to do all the work for them and they want to profit off your trading. So if anyone asks you to trade for them, guys, I would recommend to decline and not do it, because from my own experience, it's not going to end well for you, because what will happen is people will ask you to trade their challenges, right? And pass their challenges for you, for them. They'll pay you like a fee. Once you pass their challenge, they're going to fail their account right after because they don't know how to trade. And as soon as they fail it, they're going to call you a scammer and they're going to ask you for the money back. So just don't do it, guys. There's no point in doing it. You're better off learning how to trade just like everyone else here. If someone asks you to add you to their copier, pass their account, and they give you some sob story about how their family needs it and all this, like, guys, I've heard that story a million times. Someone will tell you that they're living in some crazy conditions, guys. I hear that story from so many people. That it doesn't even make sense to me anymore. So if anyone asks you guys to do that stuff, like, you know, me, Kevin, and whatnot, don't do it. And I don't recommend you guys ask people to do it either, because you're just gonna dig a deeper hole for yourself. You're gonna pay someone to pass your challenge, and then if and when they do pass it, you're not gonna be able to maintain it. So. Yeah, guys. Yeah, Mauricio said, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him how to fish, and they will eat every day. Exactly, Mauricio. And that's what I'm doing here, guys. I'm teaching you guys how to trade so that you guys can do this on your own. But yeah, Kevin, I get it all the time, and I think you made the right decision by not giving in to their requests. I mean, you guys have seen it before. You guys have seen other people in the group that there were, you know, the thing with K2 is that there's like a revolving door here. You guys will see certain people come, they'll do really well. And then people start asking them to do stuff for them. And then once things don't pan out, they kind of just disappear because everyone starts calling them a scammer. And you guys have heard that before with JJ. Yeah, the most recent time was JJ, and you guys remember that. It's like Jerry Springer in our chat room with I forgot who, but someone was mad at JJ for not passing their account. Tody said, give me your accounts, no problem. I will trade them. I don't say I will pass the challenge. I will just practice my trading with them. Yeah, solid idea there, Tody. And that's something that a lot of people will say to you. People will tell you these things and they'll say, oh, you can pass my challenge. If you don't pass it, it's cool. Right. And then as soon as you fail their account, they're going to call you a scammer and they're going to basically try to expose you in the group. So just, if you guys want to do it, feel free. I mean, I'll be sitting back with my popcorn, watching your messages as you guys argue over it, because I know it's going to happen again. There's always going to be someone in the group begging somebody to pass their challenge, and someone's going to fall for it, and they're not going to pass their challenge, and then you're going to see them arguing in the group. It happens every couple of months, guys. There's always like one person that does it. And then we're here in the background, just like reading the messages, like laughing about it, because I already gave you guys a heads up. Anyways, Casey said, so you mean you won't do all the work for me and give me all the rewards? Rude. I know, right? It's exactly what it is. Marisa said, hey, Sean, can you put us all on your copier? Yeah, one of these days. I'll have to create my own broker so that you guys can for sure have no issues. There's always going to be issues, guys. You know, it just depends on like, there's going to be broker issues. There's going to be times where people will fail your challenge and like, or you'll fail your own challenge. And it won't even be your fault. There'll be an issue with the broker or the copier and whatnot. Especially like today, because today the market is moving a little iffy because Powell is speaking. When Powell speaks, you guys can see the volatility in the market, right? Sometimes your copier, this is an issue that doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. Sometimes you guys will enter a trade and price will spike up, kind of like what happened earlier over here, the spike. And your copier is going to be unable to close you out of the position. So like for one of your positions, you'll lose like maybe 1,000. And then for your copiers, you might lose like 3,000 because it's going to exit somewhere up here. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's a lot of things that can happen that are out of your control. But looking back at the charts over here, there's nothing for us to take. I'm still looking for a possible V3. There's nothing here right now. Take a look at sentiment. Sentiment is currently 60%. Let me just scroll up real quick. So PC over here is asking a question. PC is asking for 702. Let me check that real quick. So PC said, was the 7.01 V2 truly a V2 as the high candle was red one? High should have been this wasn't a V2, this was a V1 PC for the 701. It wouldn't be a V2 because there can be a wick on the bottom here. If there was no wick, then yeah, that'd be a V2. It would have to be a strong candle. So the difference between these strategies here, I think you kind of you probably mixed it up. I mean, I rarely, if ever, take the V2 because this rarely comes up where you have a strong candle with no wick on the bottom or wick up top. Like this rarely comes up. This was a V1 here. Overall bias was, I mean, there wasn't a strong overall bias, but it was still a sell bias. We had the high here, double body, and you would enter right there where we entered, and that's where you would have taken the profit. So you might have mixed it up, but it's okay. That was a V1, not a V2. The V2 comes up sometimes, but it's not. It doesn't come up too often. Sam's asking, would the high need to be on a green candle? No. So for the V1, it just needs to be a high. So it could be a high. It doesn't matter if it's a green or red candle because it can be either one. You just need to catch this double wick, like either a double wick or a double body. So it can be, the high can be before it, it can be after it. It just needs to be right next to it. Just double body. If you see this pattern right here, double body, that's probably going to be a V1. Same with the double wick. So that's pretty much all that you would be looking for. Zachary's asking, can you explain the V2 more? So the V2 is no different from the other ones. The only difference is the candle following it. So for the V2, I mean, if I could find an example, I'll show you. But as I mentioned, these rarely come up, if ever. So if anything, we might have to save this for a mentoring session. Zachary, because I don't see anything over here myself. If I see something, I'll show you, but I mean, just looking back over here, I don't really see anything. The V2 is more similar to the V3. So the V1 is totally different. You would compare the V2 to the V3. You're basically looking for an opposite candle, but it needs to be a strong opposite candle. It's a reversal pattern. So I don't see one here. If I do see one, I'll show you, but I don't necessarily see one. Okay, actually there's one. No. So let me just show you an example here. This isn't going to be a valid one because there's no pending signal, but I'm just going to show you how it's supposed to look. Okay, so I know we need a pending signal. Just ignore that requirement. I just want to show you that this is what it's supposed to look like. So you're looking for an overall bias. We'll just say it's buy here. You're looking for a low, right? There's a low right here. And then you're looking for an opposite candle, but the opposite candle has to be a strong candle, meaning no wick on the top end. So if you're looking for a buy here, like you are, so it pulls back right here. It's a buy candle or a green candle. There's no wick on top. This is going to be a V2. So from right here, you would take this as a long entry. But this doesn't fit the requirements because you need to make sure that the bias is met and then also that there's a pending signal. There's no pending signal here. But this is, I'm just showing you how the strategy would look like, and that's the V2. So that's an example there. If I see another one, I'll show you, but I don't really see one here. They're hard to come by. It's typically, it happens during like volatile markets because that's where you get the stronger candles. During these slower markets, you don't really get them very often. But yeah, during the next mentoring session, Zachary, if you're going to be attending it, just bring it up and I'll look back deeper. I just don't want to look at it right now in case we see any trades, but for the most part, they come up during volatile. Because like, for example, like this type of market right here, where these candles are pushing so strongly, and a lot of times there's like no wicks, that's where you would find a lot of V2s. It just depends on the market conditions. But currently right now, I don't really see it happening because price just keeps going back and forth. But yeah, no problem. I don't think there's anything to take right now, guys. Oh, again, we need a pending sell signal. The sell signal did come up here, but it's invalid. So it's not going to be an entry for anything. Going over here to the 10-minute, I don't see anything here either. Yeah, nothing there. Unfortunately, nothing here. There's a nice V1 again right here on the 5. I think this would have aligned with the 1 minute. Yeah, the same one that we took. It's just on the 5-minute. All right, so we got news coming up right now at 7:30. Go over here to the clean chart. Clean this up a little bit. So as you guys can see from a bird's eye view here, there's not really much going on. Price is just ranging back and forth. There's no direction to the upside, no direction to the downside. I think price is going to come down though. You can kind of see it starting to build up here. So if you draw parallel channels, I mean, it's not a strong move to the downside, but it is moving downwards, as you guys can see here. It's not a strong move, but it is moving downwards from here. Maybe if you draw channels on the other level over here. Okay, so you can see a little bit better right here. So you can see that price is making its way down. It's just not there yet. So yeah, I know that that trading view is freezing here, but guys, these are still considered gaps. The reason why it's freezing, it's not really freezing. It's just that in between each candle, it moves too fast. You guys kind of see that? Because it's not frozen. Like some of you guys are saying that it's frozen. It's not frozen. What happens is the candle moves too fast after the next candle opens. So like, for example, right here, this candle was right here. it didn't freeze for like a minute, right? It froze for like maybe a split second in between, because what happened was the candle just moved too fast. Price was like up here, and then it's considered a gap because it moves within like a split second or so, where when it goes from candle to candle, price is already down here, right? So freezing is when it's like actually frozen, when it's frozen for like 5 minutes or so, or a minute, or even a couple minutes. Like if it skips like 3 candles, okay, you'll consider that frozen. When it's like 1 candle and it just gaps, that's considered a gap because it's just moving too fast. You can see how volatile the market is right now, and that's why it's happening. I know, and you could see that on like MT4, because if you look at MT4, the candle there is like huge. It's like a huge red candle. Like for example, right here, there's a gap right here. But if you look on MT4, it's a big red candle that just drops and then it comes back up. So, just keep that in mind, guys. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether it's frozen or whether it's a gap. MT4 is still moving. That's why I have 2 screens here. So you should have, well, I mean, you don't have to, but you should have trading view on one screen and then MT4 on the other. But the volatility is just too high. It's high because of what Powell is saying. Whenever Powell says something and people want to take a big, chunk of trades, like an institution or a market maker, they'll take a huge bunch of trades and then it'll just gap price. And it happens like at the close of a candle. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter. You guys call it gap, frozen, doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Price is still technically moving. It's not just like the market isn't like dead. Because when it's frozen for like 5 minutes, like how it's been in the past, that's where we're like, okay, it's frozen. Because when it's frozen, you can't get in and out of a trade. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, other than that, let me scroll up real quick and see what else I'm missing. Yeah, Shannon said, this is the first week I am able to sit and listen without feeling FOMO, no trades. Yeah, which is good, Shannon. That shows improvement, because the main reason why a lot of people don't do well trading is because they don't have the patience, right? They want to take every single trade, or they just FOMO into something that's not even there, and then they end up blowing their account. Unfortunate as it is, it happens to so many people. And I'm sure it's happened to a lot of you guys too. A lot of you guys are just don't want to admit it. I mean, I'll admit it. I mean, it's happened to me a lot of times too. So it's normal. Anyways, back to this over here. Let me renew the yeah. Charles said possible liquidity entry. I see that too. The only problem is that it's going to be at the sessions when it comes back down. But yes, I do see that possible liquidity right there. I'll go here to the clean chart, or to the markup chart. So there isn't a possible area of liquidity right here. It's too late for me. Damn, I missed it. Oh, it's okay. Looks like price is kind of just bouncing around anyways. Actually, no. So here's the thing with liquidity, guys. Whenever we get these areas of liquidity, there still needs to be a waiting period between when it gets established. Because you can see right here that it just got pushed back because it was like the following candle. Typically, it would be like, you have to wait like maybe 2 candles or 3 candles for it to establish. Damn, look at how crazy this price is moving right here. So if you guys took that liquidity push, you guys probably made profit off it. Let me just go back real quick. If you guys, if and when you guys did take it, because it did technically push below. But if you were getting greedy and held on to it, you've been some massive drawdown right now. This is why I was telling you guys it's probably best to just sit out the market because it's so volatile. So if you took this liquidity push, you probably would have hit your TP, but you got to make sure that you actually exit. I wouldn't recommend holding on to trades right now, especially with Powell speaking. Yeah, MJ said that was a wild candle. It literally came down and it spiked up how far? It spiked up about 600 pips. So if your stop loss, I mean, your stop loss would have gotten destroyed. So yeah, exactly. Charles said smack, but wasn't trying to take the risk. It's just too risky. Let's see. Yeah, Shannon said it happened to her last week where she took some FOMO trades. So now she's just learning to just listen. Actually just happened just this Tuesday. Yeah, and it happened, Shannon. You know, the thing with that is if you guys run into a loss, don't dwell on it too much because you guys will just eat yourself into a hole. I've seen a lot of people who take one loss and then they try to FOMO or revenge trade and they just dig a deeper hole until they blow their account. So for me personally, if I ever take a loss, I just step away. And I just don't trade for the rest of the day because you got to make sure that your mindset is 100. You guys are taking these trades. MJ said, I was waiting for a possible triple confluence. I know that would have been nice, huh, if it closed below. And I haven't seen a triple confluence in a long time. If you guys are not familiar with the triple confluence, basically we're confirming the overall bias. I don't think there's a fundamental bias right now. Still bullish. Yeah, it's still bullish, so it's going to be a bit difficult for us to even take anything. But what MJ was looking for is basically for price to close below here with a sell signal. And then if and when it closes, it provides an entry for triple confluence. But I don't think it worked because there's no bias right now, unfortunately. Fahad said, F these movements. I'm not going to try to take any more trades. I'm out. Have a good day, everyone. All right, Fahad, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, it's probably best to sit it out for the most part. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I can answer whatever questions you guys have. It's 7:40 right now. So we have about 20 minutes until 8 o'clock, which is my cutoff for trading. So if you guys have questions, put them in the chat. We can cover whatever you guys need help with. I'm not looking to take anything too crazy right now, so I'm probably going to hold off on entering any trades, but I'm available to answer whatever questions you guys have. So if you guys have questions, I know typically we try to push this off to the mentoring sessions, but I think for right now, it's probably best for us to cover questions rather than force trades because market is just, it's not worth risking because there's no clear direction. For one, there's no clear direction. If there was a bias, then yeah, maybe I'd take some risky trades, but there's no bias. Plus, Powell is speaking, which is an even bigger red flag. Because, I mean, he can literally say something and then it would just cause price to move in some random direction. Just like how price is moving right now. Price came below, spiked up. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes right back below. Just back and forth. C6, I saw your message earlier. C6 said they just kicked her out. That was too distracting. And I agree. If you guys don't know what C6 is talking about, rewatch the live stream here of Powell and see who is sitting in this area. Because I agree, it was. Let's see if there's anything else over here that I am missing. Let me scroll up real quick. Charles said if only Powell wasn't on and the sessions wasn't there, would have been a hit. Yeah, and I agree too. Sam said this week has been tough. Took a couple losses, but managed to make it all back in the later New York session when it's not as wild. Yeah, it's just crazy right now because the Fed's speaking. Whenever the Fed speaks, I typically don't even trade at all. I just sit around and watch. But yeah, Powell is speaking today, and then tomorrow we have Fed member Bullard speaking at 4:30, and then I don't know how long he'll speak for, maybe an hour, 2 hours in 2 hour live session. And we have a couple of news events tomorrow. But right now it's just, you guys can see how crazy price is moving. And look at that spike right back down. these candles here are too big too. So if your stop loss is too tight, you're gonna get stopped out if you get caught in this pullback. So you want to be really careful with whatever entries you guys decide to take. Let me scroll down further. Mace is asking, might be a silly question. However, the K2 high-low levels on TradingView, will they be different levels on MT4, or can we use the same K2 levels from TradingView chart? Sorry, Mace, let me see. So Mace is basically asking if the high-low levels, well, here's the thing with these indicators over here, you can't transfer this indicator over to MT4, but yes, if you wanted to just like say you have TradingView open, Mace, and you have the high lows right here and you can see them on your MT4, yeah, you're more than welcome to mark them up on your MT4, but there's no way to transfer over the indicator. So like you could basically just look at your chart here and you're like, okay, there's a high here and there's a high here on MT4, and then draw a line if you wanted to. But for me personally, I don't think there's any point in drawing up on MT4, because MT4 is just, I mean, it's like a dinosaur program, you know, the program is old. It's the tools are not like, you can't use this, right? Like, for example, to be exact, I use a horizontal rate and I use a magnet tool. So I can click anywhere, like right here, for example, I'm clicking up here and it's still going to line up with that high there. If you do that on MT4, you don't have this magnet tool. So you're going to draw a line there and it's not going to be the actual line. Like you might be off by a couple pips, or I mean, even more depending on what time frame you're trading on. So for me personally, I don't really recommend doing any charting on MT4. I mean, if you want to, feel free, you guys are more than welcome. But comparing TradingView charting to MT4 is like light years away, because there's so many tools on here and it's a lot more accurate compared to MT4. But it's really up to you guys. I mean, if you guys like the old school stuff, then feel free, but I like the new stuff. So I'm going to stick with, I'm just going to hit buy sell on MT4, and I'm going to be doing all my charting here on TradingView. So let me scroll down a little bit. Nice. Kenny said his 10K challenge starts on Monday. Good luck with that, Kenny. Should be good. Sam said, yeah, I've been sitting on my hands this session. Yeah, and which is a good idea too, Sam, because, you know, obvious reasons. Let me see, there was a V3. There was possibly a V3 right here. No, stop loss was too close. So no V3 there. Or I mean, if you really wanted to take a trade here, I mean, technically, yeah, you could have taken, but I personally wouldn't. It's just the way that the market's moving. I wouldn't, especially because Powell's speaking and whatnot. If he wasn't speaking, I might have taken this for a late entry. So for this right here, as price pulled back up, I would have entered late and I would have just pushed the stop loss back a little further. But for right now, I personally would not take it because Powell is speaking, because this is what could happen. Price can just go sideways for a bit. And then as Powell says something, price can easily spike to your TP. You can get lucky, or it can spike to your stop loss and you can be unlucky. So that's why I wouldn't take it. There's just a lot of uncertainty in the market. It's not worth the risk, in my opinion. Peter said, Sean, can your programmer create a Powell indicator? I know, right? We had to create one of those just for when Powell speaks. I mean, typically we already had the Powell indicator. Like during COVID, when Powell spoke, it was just bullish. You just take buys, not even think about it. Hit buy, and you'll make profit no matter what. For now, we're not in COVID. We're still technically in COVID, but now we're in a recession. So it's going to be kind of iffy, because Powell he does have the best interest in mind when he speaks, but there's going to be things that he's going to have to say that is going to push price down, like raising interest rates, for example. That's going to be one of the main things. Nice. Looks like some of you guys here did take the V3 that I just marked up right there. Akil took partial V3. Nice work. He hit his TP, and Charles took it as well. So nice work, guys. Mesa just found, just that I found MT4 levels different from TradingView numbers. I do a lot of buy and sell stops. I think it would differ from broker to broker, Mace. I haven't really looked at it myself, so I don't know if it's like different or not. But I think typically it looks the same to me. I mean, if you have an example where you want me to like or if you have one where it looks different, because it's going to be different either way. At some point, it's going to be different. But for the most part, I'm looking here like this high and this high are the same on MT4, same with this low and this low right here. So it might be during certain time periods. Maybe you're trading during, I don't know, New York session, or not New York session, Asia session or London, where it's going to be a bit different. But I don't know if it works for you. Feel free to do it. But for me personally, I'm very streamlined with like how I trade. Like I like to do all my charting on here, and I just hit buy or sell on MT4 when I see something. Peter said, any advice on approach for a new member trying to find the balance between super strict like Sean, but then seeing all the other members smashing it consistently, making many other trades with a super high win rate? My best advice, Peter, would be trial and error, right? So for you and for the new member, it's really, or for whoever needs to hear it, like it's really trial and error, guys, because everyone trades differently. Like for me, I rarely lose any trades, but I barely take any trades. I take like maybe 1 or 2 trades a day, maybe 3 or 4 on a good day. But I rarely lose, right? Or if ever lose. So that's my trading style. For you, Peter, you want to have a bit of a balance where you're kind of strict, but you also want to take risks. You would just have to, like, here's the thing, you're gonna have to bite the bullet a couple of times, right? Because you're gonna have to trial and error. You're gonna take some risky trades, and then if you don't feel comfortable or good about that, you're gonna stop trading that way. If you're too strict, then you're gonna get bored, and you're gonna want to take more risks. So I think for the main advice for you is trial and error. Figure out what works for you. Figure out what strategies you like. I think the main thing would be to figure out 1 or 2 strategies that you really like and master it. Because if you can do that, that's where you will start to excel. Like with Kevin over here, right? Like you've seen Kevin's profits. A lot of these trades, he's taking like mostly liquidity pushes. He's taking liquidity pushes here, and that's like what he's really good at. So if you guys can find 1 strategy or 2 strategies that you're really good at, that could make all the difference. So you can focus on maybe a couple variations, maybe the variation 1 and 3, and then from there you can incorporate the liquidity pushes. So there's just a lot of different ways to do it. But for me, I can't really tell you exactly what's going to work best for you, because the only person that knows what's best for you is going to be you. So that's my word of advice. Just trial and error. All right. So question over here. Yeah, no problem, Peter. Kill is asking, Sean, who is Powell and why does he affect the market so much? Yeah, what Peter said. So Powell is the chairman of the Federal Reserve. So Powell basically tells everybody how the US economy is working, how is it doing, how it's going to get better, how it's going to get worse, etc. Just basically the entire US economy. He basically has control over everything, like spending, raising interest rates, anything regarding money in the US. So that's why he affects it so much. When like prior during COVID, when the economy wasn't doing so well, Powell's like the kind of guy that would just say good things no matter what, right? He's kind of like Trump, like how Trump was before. He would just say a lot of good things that sounded really good, so price would just keep going up. That's why all the memes are about him. Like, if you guys weren't here on the session yesterday, if you look up any Powell memes, like it's always about money, like about good things, right? So like right here, like Powell's like, fuck your puts, basically. So he's thinking about whether he should print more money. He's the head of the Federal Reserve. He's like, print, because he makes the decision whether they print more money or not. So if you look at any of the memes here for Powell, it's just about him and money, because he helps the economy. So that's why if you just search it up, you can find it's always, this is the best one here though. It says sees red candle, Jerome Powell. He looks at it and he just stimulates it to the upside. So that's a quick explanation to who Powell is. You don't really need to know the details. It's just that he controls basically economics here in the US. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Mauricio said, yeah, all that printing he did is causing problems now, short-term COVID. Yeah, exactly. Because during COVID, they gave out stimulus and he was printing out all this money, and then the Ukraine war happened and he's printing out all this money, and now the economy is screwed because we don't have money now. Let me scroll up real quick and see what else I'm missing. Yeah, John said he's more responsible for inflation than the president. I agree. Definitely. And I think that might be it. I just saw your message, TC. So let me check the chat real quick. Looks like I missed a lot of other things here. So we got a couple of profits over here. Let me just scroll up real quick. So we got Patrick over here with total profit of 4,368. I think I already copied that over. Yes, I did. And then we had Al over here. Al locked in the total profit of 973. Nice work, Al. And these are all different members in K2, guys. Kevin over here currently up 9,214. Nice work, Kevin. Harry over here as well. Locked in a total profit of 3,588. Nice work, Harry. Dell over here locked in a total profit of 700. Nice work, Dell. Scotty over here locked in a total profit of 2,048. Great work, Scotty. Kurt over here locked in a total of 152. Nice work, Kurt. And then Scotty over here again locked in a total profit of 3,389. Nice. Actually, he locked in another one, another profit, total profit of 4,122 for the day. Killed it today, Scotty. All right, guys. So those are the profits from the premium chat. Let me see if there's anything else here. If you guys have any more profits, feel free to send them in. I'll add them to the list over here, and then they will be posted later in the group. Let's see, looking over here real quick. Patricia said it is her profits. Currently loading. See Alexander over here. So I'll come back to yours, Patricia. Alexander over here said, started to concentrate on winning and cutting losses. The loss I took was due to short stop loss, went to TP eventually. Yeah, and that's what sucks sometimes, right, Alexander? Like sometimes you'll be in a trade and your stop loss is too tight. It'll hit your stop loss and come right down to TP. And it happens a lot. That's why I have a wider stop loss. And we have that negative risk reward just to cover the cushion. So total profit by Alexander over here, total profit of 4,691. Nice work, Alexander. You did pretty solid today. That loss there that you mentioned, it was just because of a small stop, too tight of a stop loss. I can tell your stop loss here was too tight. It was probably at 200 pips, which it is what it is. It happens. So great work right here, Alexander. Keep it up, man. So overall, you would have had straight wins if it wasn't for that little accident right there at that stop loss. So Patricia over here as well, currently up 2,707. So nice work right there, Patricia. You looks like you had majority wins this morning, a couple losses, but it's all right. Still did pretty solid overall. The key thing here is closing out the day in net positive profits. If you guys can close out with net positive profits at the end of the day, that's really what's key. You guys can have losses, it happens, but bouncing back from those losses is what really matters. So Patricia here had a couple losses. She bounced back literally immediately after. She had these losses at 35 minutes, and at 36 minutes, she bounced right back. And then 2 minutes later, she doubled up on that. So great work, Patricia. Yeah, exactly. Kevin said, when you pass the challenge for them, they'll just blow the account that they couldn't pass to begin with. And that's exactly true. Exactly. All right, guys. So I think that might be it for today, guys. Unless you guys have any questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. It is 5, 6, it's 7:56 right now. I don't see any other entries available at the moment. There's a possible V3 coming up right here. However, it's going to be right at news price, so it's not really going to be a good entry for us to take here. I'll try to mark it up if it does close, but it doesn't even look like it's going to close here. Yeah, so actually no V3 there at all. The thing you want to keep in mind is that Powell is still speaking, so you want to be very careful if you guys do decide to take any trades today. Let me see if there's anything else coming up today. It's just Powell, and Powell's done speaking. I think that's it for the day. And then tomorrow we have Fed member Bullard speaking at 4:30. They're probably going to speak for a couple hours. So into our live session, they'll probably still be speaking. Again, at 7 o'clock, we have revised UOM consumer sentiment, new home sales, revised UOM inflation expectations, and crude oil inventories at 8 o'clock. So other than that, I would recommend that you guys probably, okay, so this is frozen. So you know how earlier we were talking about how it freezes? This is actually frozen. And yeah, Charles said another sign to get off. So as I get off, market froze like literally right now. So this is like another, and there you go. So this is what I would consider a frozen, like when it freezes like that for, an extended amount of time. But it doesn't matter. Frozen gap, whatever you guys want to call it, it's the same difference. Doesn't make a difference to me. Yeah, or 3 actually, Charles. I think there was 3 gaps or frozen times, whatever you guys want to call it. But that's another, maybe another heads up that you guys should probably call it a day. Let me just scroll up to see if I missed any other questions before I cut this off. So professor's asking, Sean, I'm not sure if you saw my earlier question. When you take a partial on your daily, is it, it's typically 300 pips, professor, because I'm only going for 100 pips. So I'm going for like basically a 1-minute move. So when I'm taking a partial on the daily, or I think you're referring to the breakout, right? Not the daily. Or if you're referring to the daily, that'd be completely different. So let me see. There's actually no daily entry here. So if the daily does come up, it looks like it's going to be a sell. So you guys might want to keep that in mind. And I think if the daily does come up, I think it's going to drop pretty heavy because it is, the bias is still for a sell. So for the daily here, I would have a 500 pip stop loss. But if you're talking about the breakout, because the daily here is 1,500 pip move, it's a big move. So you'd have to have a decent stop loss. For the breakout, I would use, okay, yeah. So professor confirmed that he did mean the breakout. I only use a 300 pip stop loss because I'm trading on the 1 minute here. And typically when I'm getting in and out, I'm trying to get in like super quickly. So I get in, get out. That 300 pips is just a cushion. But typically when I do take the breakout for a partial, I'm going for our basically fixed 1 minute trades. Like for the variation V1, you can see for most of these, I use a 100, 300, same with the V2. 100, 300, V3 is different, but for the pivot scalp, basically on the 1 minute, majority of the time, I'm using a 300, 100 pips TP stop loss. So, all right, guys, I think that's it with the market moving all funny like this and kind of freezing up. I think it's best for everyone to just call it a day. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, I will be back here tomorrow. So here's another thing over here. Alexander said, I had a good week last week, but obviously overtraded. So I tried to cut my losses and pretty much hit the same profit with less trades. Yeah, so here's a great example right here, guys. So like, Alexander was doing great. And then he had one day where he just started to revenge trade. And you took 40 trades that day, Alexander. So yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier, guys, with the whole trial and error thing, right? So you guys have to just test things out. What works best for you? More trades, less trades, quality trades, riskier trades. Once you figure out like your trading style and how you really excel, that's how you guys will get better. So like what Alexander said here, he said his stop loss was 200 pips. It was 300. He would have gotten another 1K profit, but lesson learned. The key change for me is not to gamble and don't take YOLO trades. Yeah, and that's key there. And his second part of his message here said, I had a good last week, but obviously overtraded. And that's key there, being real with yourself and understanding that you overtraded, right? A lot of people will not, uh, they'll not come to that conclusion. They'll think, or they'll say that they'll want to blame it on somebody. So the thing with Alexander here is he looked over his trades. He understood what the problem was. Now that he knows that overtrading is his problem, he's now cutting his losses and pretty much hitting the same profit with less trades. So yeah, great work, Alexander. Focus on those quality wins because you do have a lot of quality wins here. I can see a lot of these where they hit, I think the 1,000 pip profit range is where you really hit quality. So like say, for example, here, I know you see some differences here where you made 180, 430, 30, 530, 30, 600, right? And then here you made a bigger profit, 2,000. Say, for example, if you took like less than these, so say if you only took 5 trades, because you took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades here. If you took half the trades, 5 trades, and they were all wins for 1,000, you'd actually make more profit. You'd be in profit 5,000 instead of 4,000. So it's just going to be a matter of, trial and error as you guys figure out what works best for you. So Cern over here just posted his profits as well, currently up 424. So nice work right there, Cern. And probably best to sit it out as well. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up for the day. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning for the next live session. Same place, same time. And I think that's about it. One question from Kenny's asking, Sean, at the FTMO 10K challenge, what lot size do you recommend? There's no specific lot size. Can you still be risking the same amount, like 1%? So depending on what type of trade you're taking, your lot size is going to vary from what strategy you're applying, whether it's a V1, V2 variation, V3, what time frame you're trading on. There's a lot of different parameters there that will be taken into consideration, Kenny. So you got to be more specific, like what time frame you're trading on, what strategy you're applying. Because the V3 and the V1s are different. People always ask me, hey, what's the lot size for V1 for the variation? And each variation is different. Variation 1 is different from variation 3, while variation 2 is also different from variation 3. So yeah, unless you could come up with like for the breakout. Okay, so I feel like we went over this before, haven't we, Kenny? I don't know if we've talked about this before, but here, I'll try to do the calculations again. So I'm trying to think. You have a $10,000 account. You're trying to risk 3% max. So you're risking 300. It's kind of too high. Okay, so if you're using a 0.60 lot size, you're going to be risking 300. That's going to be 3% of your account. So on 10K account or 10K challenge, if you're trying to risk 3%, your max lot size should be a 0.60. If not, it can be anything below that, but never go over 0.60 because you're going to be risking 3%. For each day, you can risk 5%. That's your max daily loss. So that's going to be the most that you can lose in one day. If you risk 3%, you're fine. You're going to be way below that. And then for your variations, you can go even lower. So your max lot size is going to be 0.6. You can use anything below that, but probably keep it between a 0.3 and a 0.6. So basic math right there, if you guys can figure it out. Basically, if you're using a lot, like you're just going to multiply the pips. So pips are 500 pips and you multiply your lot size. If you're doing a 1 lot, it's a 1. If you're doing a 2 lot, it's 2. If you're doing a 10 lot, it's 10, right? 5,000 right there. That's typically what I will use because I use a 10 lot for my 200K account. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the questions. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll be back here tomorrow for more questions as we wrap the trading week. So have a great rest of your morning, guys. And if you guys do decide to trade, I'd recommend just not trading because Powell is still speaking. So if you guys do have to trade, like if it's absolutely necessary, then just make sure to only take quality trades, because I could see a lot of accounts getting blown today if you get caught in any of this